good afternoon, Denny. How are you?
Good.
Good. Hold on, it's coming up. I'm glad I got you before the game starts. I was talking to a friend of mine. She's actually behind me right now. She was doing she was calling some FISBOs, and the FISBO said, she's like, hey, just blah, 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 blah. And the FISBO's like, oh yeah, I'm under contract. So we were wondering, is there a place, like, where's the path there? Is it like, okay, thanks, bye, click? Or is there like another way to go, another path to take?
All right. Well, we'll get live here in a little bit. Why don't you bring that up? I'm sure other people would like to hear that.
Yep, sounds good.
Louise, how are you doing today? Have I told you lately how much I appreciate you? Got to do it every day, at least once on Friday. So you won the coaching call. So just if you do whoever you want, just
I'll send an email.
Yeah, let me or John know.
No problem. Yep, it's out showing. I'll do it in a little bit. Thank you.
And people usually kind of log on right at 1 o'clock. We'll see. Louise, I've got you co-host just in case. Hi, Amy. How are you? I don't know if you can bring on the camera. We generally have 20 to 30 on, which is great. We'll see. We got something. Oh, here they come. Oh, these are the robots. They're not real people. Well, I've got 1 o'clock. Let's see here. One more thing, guys. Want to skip? Happy to click allow. Okay. Anyway, all right. Welcome everybody. Denny Grimes here, Mastery of Real Estate. Louise, are you there? Oh, she's coming back in. Looks like we will get going here in a second. Let go in. And so what we do is mastery level role play here when we have conversations, which we'll have here in a little bit. We do all question-based, listening enhanced conversation. So I find that we're a whole lot better at conversations when we can listen to what the other people have to say. So we will be working on that. Any role play you want today happens to be June 21st, 2024. And this video will be posted on Denny Grimes Mastery of Real Estate YouTube channel. I'm working to grow to 1,000, and then my next goal is going to be 1 million. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, why don't you go ahead and do that? Because we've got a lot of things posted. And so we had a request right out of the gate. We'll do this as other people come on. Ollie is part of our recon for people that have not been on. Recon is a daily role play that we do Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 9 Central Time, or that's 9:30 to 10 Eastern Time if you like a little bit more role play practice. So Allie, you had you brought up something kind of interesting. Let's cover that right away. And
he's going to cover it.
Yeah, so get your friend involved. If they had basically you were making some outbound calls, talking to unassisted sellers or for sale by owners, and what happened?
This wonderful young lady here was calling, and when she offered her services, they said that they were currently under contract.
Okay, and that's probably not a response you were ready for, right?
Correct.
All right, well, I'm going to take a wild stab at that, and anybody else here would like to do that. Hey, Kim, welcome. Hey, Zach, welcome. So I would probably do this. What is your friend's name? I'll role play with her.
Jensel.
Jen?
Jen, you could call it Jay.
Jay, okay. I may not know your name, so I'm going to say, so your house is already under contract? Where are you, Jay? Did I lose you? Well, that's not fun.
Jay, we can't hear
Yeah,
you.
can you see us? Can you see us? We
I
can,
see you now, but I could not hear her. Just get up to the
okay,
mic.
here.
So Jay, your house is already under contract?
Yes, it's under contract.
Well, that's fantastic. How long has it been under contract?
I just got it under contract yesterday.
I see. Now, let me ask you, so when you say it's under contract, have you already done the paperwork?
I haven't received anything as of yet. I'm still waiting for it.
So basically you have kind of a, maybe a verbal or a meeting of the minds?
Right.
Okay, well, congratulations. Now, if you have a minute, let me ask you a couple questions because you're kind of in a very potentially dangerous spot. May I explain?
Yeah, I guess.
So is the buyer coming from privately or with another agent?
Yeah, it's just a neighbor that wanted to buy my house.
Okay. Then how are you going about getting the paperwork together?
I have an attorney.
Okay. Have you met the
Well, it's the neighbor, so yeah.
or the neighbors themselves are buying, correct?
Right.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Are you, based on what you negotiated, are you happy with the price and the terms?
Yeah, I mean, they're giving me asking price, and we're closing in 60 days, so everything works out for everybody.
Okay, well, that's great. And I guess I have one more question. Have you ever sold a house privately?
No, this is my first time.
Okay, well, I've been doing this for 5 years, 10 years, or, I do this every day. So let me ask you. I know you've got your neighbor, which you probably like and trust. You've got an attorney working for you. What questions do you have that I'm happy just to answer for you? Because it's just being neighborly.
I don't really have any questions. I think I'm just gonna rely on my attorney to get this to close.
Okay, well, I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna send you, if you'll give me, I have your address, but if you give me your email, I'm gonna send you a little checklist for you to have with you, so you can maybe ask your attorney some questions that he or she may not cover. And I just want to be a resource for you. If you sell it privately, that's awesome. And I'm there to help. Would that be a problem?
I have other friends that are real estate agents, so I can just ask them for help if need be. I appreciate
Fully on you then. Anyway, that's kind of where I would go to find out. Now, there's one more thing. One more opportunity, avenue that I may be going down. And can anybody see or figure out maybe there's another rock to overturn? I mean, there's two rocks could overturn.
For the buyer,
Say it again.
for the buyer, like just kind of compliance, like, I don't
Well,
know.
okay, so I offered my services to that for sale by owner. I was just attempting to be neighborly. She's kind of not really wanting it. There's two more potential rocks to overturn that might lead to our business if we keep our ear to the ground. What might they be? Go
Where
ahead.
are they moving? Where are they moving to? Why are they moving?
That's right. All right, Ally. So maybe they need help buying a house, going somewhere else. What else, Louise?
It could be the opportunity to collect information from other interests for her property. And it could also be to ask her if she'd like
Awesome.
a backup plan.
Okay, could be backup.
The
So
buyer does the buyer need to sell?
there you go. There's another one. The buyer, who's the neighbor, maybe they don't have an agent. Maybe that's an opportunity. And that's good. And I can think of one more, and that would be, well, I'm kind of curious. That Wellington's such a nice area. When your neighbor buys your house, where are you moving to? Right? Okay. The other opportunity, do you have any, maybe they're leaving the area. Do you have any other properties that you would like to sell? That could be another opportunity. So although you were a little bit stumped, like, okay, you got your contract on their home, they're actually in a more dangerous, probably a more stressful situation as an unassisted seller with a contract than an unassisted seller without a contract. Does that make sense? So that could be a great opportunity to offer some value. Say it again. I'm not, you're frozen. Hey, Louise, you're our co-host. If you, good, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. I want to cover a couple things, guys.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll have a thought of the day, you guys. I'm going to give you a magic wand because, you know, this is June 21st, the summer solstice, the longest daylight day of the year, so you get a special gift. Here's your gift. If you could know anything, now I'm not going to talk about where your boyfriend was last Friday night. And I'm talking about if you could know anything about the real estate market that we're in. There's a lot of unknowns. What would you like to know? Think about it a second. You can either put it in the chat or you can say it out loud. I'm just kind of curious. If you had a magic wand and you could know any bit, what would you know? Like to know?
When the next market crash will be.
When the market crash will be. All right, nice. Tim. What's yours?
Yeah, I was going to say that, like, what's going to happen in the market? Are rates going to come down, or, or what's going to happen with values, I guess.
All right. Well, now you can have anything you want to know. So ask the question specifically. When are values going to peak? When are values going to bottom? What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that's right.
Values bottom. Kind of similar to Louise's gift. What do you want to know? You have a magic wand. You can know anything in the future. Jason, think about it. Brian, think about it. I'm coming to you.
I'm not sure. So I feel like right now I have a hard time dealing with everybody. I want the market to be normal.
All right. No worries. Jason, Brian, you got a magic wand. I'm going to give you one more crack. What do you want to know? You're leaving off a big one. People want to know when interest rates are coming down, right? What else would you like to know?
What's going to happen with the election?
Yeah, right. Well, I asked that for a reason. I'm going to share a quote with you. Is that all right? Here we go. You guys can see the slide behind me. If you can recognize it, no, that's Einstein. He says, forget predicting the future if you can't explain the present. Does that make sense? Don't worry about the future if you can't explain the present. Now, full disclosure, that's not really Einstein that said that. I said that. I'm just using Einstein for credibility. Okay? So here's my point, you guys. Here's my point. If you knew when the market was going to crash, and let's say you knew it and other people knew it, what would happen to our market?
It would come to a screeching halt until that day came that they crashed.
There you go. If you knew when housing prices were going to peak or bottom, what would happen to our market?
Purchases would reflect that. And sales would reflect that.
And if you knew when interest rates were going to drop, what would happen up until that time?
Absolutely nothing.
Can you see why the fact that we want to know things that God has given us grace, and we do not know those answers because we deal in the unknown. So although everyone wants to know and they always try to predict and they're always weeping and gnashing their teeth, figuring out, are the interest rates coming down this year? Listen, write this down because this is my thought of the day. It does not matter. Does not matter. because it will or it won't, and there's not a thing we can do about it. So let's talk in terms of, and I've got to speak to my friends in my office on Friday in Naples and Marco Island, where John is. He's asked me to give them an update on the market. And I want to give you, I'm not going to bore you with stats. I want to prepare you to be the best listing agent in your area, right? And I've said before, so I would like to work on some seller objections, and I'll be the seller, and if you want to get better, I want to be the seller. I'm going to give you some objections. I want to see how you handle them, right? Let's talk in terms of when you get a listing and it still takes place and it still goes on in our marketplace, Louise, and I don't know why it does, as much as we attempt to help people understand this. When you go out and when you meet with sellers and you give them a price on what they think, or a range, what you think the home will sell for you to be right, your price has to be low. You know that? For you to be right for a high percent of time, you're going to have to guess lower than it's really worth. So I can demonstrate this, but we'll get into some role plays here in a second. There's three things, and I've said this before, and I appreciate Louise and Don have covered for me, I think 2 or 3 out of the last couple of weeks. Thank you very much. I've heard good reviews about the class. I want to give you the three things that we know for sure. Now, do we know what's happened in the past? Yes. The past are the past sales, right? We know that when we do our market analysis. We know what's going on today. We know the current, which is basically actives. So that type of information out there, we should know it. The third thing we should know, knowable, is the trend in the market. So you should know in your segment what the market's doing. Now I'm going to show you this next slide. Look behind me. I don't know if you have this type of thing in your MLS. This is a market watch. It's called Market Watch, and we can set it up for 7 days. We can customize it to zip code or single family or whatever. However, at a glance, you can become a quasi expert and understand the trends in the market by just looking at a simple picture like this. And for example, we see 377 new listings in the last 7 days and 299 sold. That is a trend. What does that mean? Inventory is coming in faster than it's going out. You know, I won't, and then there's one more thing here. It's pretty obvious, is look at this big pink line. That's your price decreases. In the last 7 days, 900 or 731 sellers decreased their price. So I know you don't work in my market, and that may not be your stats. However, let's just assume you did work in my market. In less than a 30-second glance, tell me the trend that you're seeing.
I'd say you better be priced right in order to sell in today's market.
Well, all right, Tim, thank you for that. Let me ask you this. In what market can it be priced wrong?
If you price it too high, if I should say
In the buyer's market.
Well, what he said is, I'm again, this is mastery. So I'm gonna get you down to the bare bedrock truth. Pricing it right in order for it to sell has to be in any market. You can't price it wrong and sell it. That goes against. That's kind of like you can't jump up and fall down at the same time. You follow what I'm saying? I know what you're attempting to. I got 6 people in the waiting room. Are they going to come in there, Louise? Hang on. Got him. So what else does this, Tim, what else does this show you?
that the market's going down. that
Okay.
people, where they're priced at, they're decreasing and just to get buyers to buy their house. That's what it's saying.
So when you have a lot of price decreases, you can, so they originally put it on the market too high. And remember, we have our 3 outcome sheet. So
Yes.
they didn't have outcome 3, they had outcome 1 or 2. They're having to reposition, right?
Yes.
All right. What else does this quick little snapshot show you? Because all you want to know is basically, you know, the past, you know, the current. This is the trend. What else does this suggest?
That there are more homes on the market than there are buyers, and the ones that have marketed or that are selling it are pricing it too high because they're going to have a price drop. And there's a huge that pink. I can't see it that far, but there's a huge number on that the pink that people are dropping the price. So you should come in if you're that motivated. Then we should see rather than how many days on market, how much are they dropping their price, and let's have their price correctly the first time.
Okay, so I get that, and it doesn't show us how much they're adjusting. However, their initial blink to the market is they're pricing too aggressively. True? If sellers are having to
True.
they were wrong to begin with. If they're wrong to begin with, that's either their expectations, I mean, sellers generally have higher expectations in the market, or they were told that by the agent. Fair?
Yes.
So the point is, before we go into the conversations, is this. If we know what the past was, past sales, if we know what the current is with the actives, and we know the trend in the market where you're having more listings and sales, so the inventory is growing, downward pressure on price, sellers are having to get their expectations modified a little bit. How do you price a home? So let's go in there. Who's going to be up first, Louise, and do a role play? And I want to see how you handle it, how you handle some conversations. I'm going to be the seller for at least a couple of these. Fair enough?
Hey, Denny, before we move on, what is the third item on the list? I see new listing, sales. What is the third item?
Rented.
Rented. And then below that is leased. It seems redundant. Okay.
But I don't know.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah.
Who's up? I'll go. No one's raised their hand. I'll go.
All right, get your hand up if you want to be next. Okay. We're going to have a pricing conversation here. And so we are sitting at the table, and I want you to, so yeah, I'm definitely going to sell. We're going to move to Wellington. However, I want to know what you think the value is of my house.
Denny, I appreciate that. We're excited to move you to Wellington. And what I'd like to do is, let me pause. Have I already shown you the closed items, the closed property? Have I already shown you the comps?
Yeah, well, okay, so you show me what is sold, you show me what's on the market, and then so the only other conversation you're gonna have is the market trends. So, yep.
And I show you the 3 outcome sheet, and I go
Right.
through that conversation, and I ask you where we want to be.
So go hold up that sheet one more time.
Well, this is not the 3 outcome sheet. This is
I know, that's an infographic.
graphics. Yeah. And what I do is I show it for the state, I show it for the county, and then I show it for the specific city. So here's Florida, here's Palm Beach County. And what this does is this gives them an idea of what the sales price to list price ratio is and how many days on market properties are at. Then I
Okay,
show them the 3 outcome sheet, right?
now on those infographic sheets, there's 6 different boxes.
We have an option to choose, I think, up to 9 or 12. We can only
I hope
put
you don't
3 on
do
the
that.
box, though. No, we can only put 6 on a page. I
So-
choose active inventory, sell price to list price, median sell price, median time to contract, and then time to close, and then month supply of inventory.
So here's my blink on that, and you guys can comment. That's enough data to choke a couple of horses. If you're gonna use that sheet, what's the most important one of the 6?
I think there are 2 important ones. I like the time to contract because it helps us with the timeline. And then I like the month supply of inventory because it tells us where we are with respect to a seller's market and a buyer's market.
So may we talk about that just a little bit? I told you I got 7 more minutes on this topic, then we're gonna do role play. So here's my point. Months of inventory. What is a month? That's one you like, right?
Yeah, so I liked the months of inventory helps to identify if we're in a seller's market or a buyer's market or a balanced market. So that
Okay, I know.
helps with the pricing, and the other one helps with the timeline.
Okay, well, let's just do months of inventory. When they do that infographic, what do they talk? They're probably talking the whole county and all price ranges, correct?
They're talking, well, either the state or the county or the city, whichever one I've selected, and either single family, townhome, or condo.
So just if you're going to get, now, I love people that use stats and data, and the nice thing she's doing is she's showing them. Again, if you want credibility, what you want to do is a third-party endorsement. She's got the data right there, and she's showing them, not telling them. That's so much stronger. I want to tell you the weakness of that. I'm not a big fan of the infographics because they're way too complicated. And for example, if you're doing high rises or you're doing single family in Wellington, that single family is probably the whole county, and it's not segmented by price range. So understand that weakness. It could still be a great tool. Last point on this, you use time on the market. So how long is that going to take me? Now back to role play. What is the average time in the market for a home like mine? Yeah, you're muted again. You're muted.
We're looking at the low 40s, so 40 days until you're under contract.
All right, somebody else tell me what that means. Average time on the market's 40 days. Tell me what that means.
So from the
Some-
time we go active,
Hang on, Louise. No, I want somebody else to do it.
Some have been on the market 2 days, some have been on the market 200 days. That's an average.
I think it's a seller's market.
Time on market is not really a good indication of seller market, buyer market. That would be your absorption in months of inventory, but it does lead that, Janet. Here's the thing, and now as a seller, when I see average time on the market is 40 days, going back to you, Louise, what are you attempting to let me know?
so 2 things. First, not to be analytical, that it's the median time, not the average, but the whole point is it's one number and it's so our team has lower days on market. So that highlights our team and our experience and our successes. The other thing is it helps with the timeline because some sellers, and I know everyone here has experienced it, they think, oh, I'm not going to want to move until a future date. I have plenty of time. When you break it down, they don't really have as much time as they imagine. So this can help them interpret their timeline.
Good. So to finish the role play then, so your average time is faster than the market?
We average 25 days on the market. Yes, Denny. Are you looking for
talking-
agent that outperforms the market?
So your median or average is 25 days, not to get geeky on you. What is it? Median?
Our 25.
And the market's 40. Okay, I'm gonna ask you as a seller, why are you selling houses in 25 days and the market selling houses in 40 days?
We're able to capture the buyer that provides an offer that our sellers like sooner than other agents.
I understand that's what it means, but how are you able to do that?
Mm-hmm.
We do that with our
Pricing.
strategy. We're very strategic with what we do.
I
Pricing.
got it, but I'm asking you, how do you do that?
Pricing.
Ooh.
How about
Don,
we're having a more honest a knowledgeable conversation with our sellers to price it right at the
Yeah.
start,
Right.
which allows us to capture buyers. faster.
So being the devil's advocate, I don't feel sellers like to hear that, right? So I tell them our strategy. Our strategy incorporates multiple things, one of which is the pricing, and that's why the 3 outcome sheet is very, very instrumental in it. And then we reference the sales price to list price percentage. So if we price it right, it all comes down to price, right? Yes.
Okay, that's what I want everyone to hear. I don't want to hear about your marketing program and that's why you sell it faster. No way. It's because of pricing. The other thing is I want you to understand the median days on the market, 40, 80, whatever. It doesn't take 40 days to sell a house. It doesn't take 40 days to sell a house. It may take 20 days to get the seller in reality and 20 days to expose it to the market. Or it might take 38 days to get the seller into reality and only 2 days to sell it. Do you understand that? So to finish the role play, promise you. All right, I like that 25 days because I want to get to Wellington. Where do we price the home?
So I reference the 3 outcome sheet. I ask where you want to be, right? And then I say to you, Denny, I promise you, you and Kristen are not going to sell this house at a price that you were not in agreement with. And I ensure you that you're in control.
I got it. So where are we starting?
I'm not, a wise person once told me not to put my fingerprints on the price. Is that what you're trying to get me to do?
I want to see how yes, because you know that I don't play that way. I wonder how you play when no one's watching, and I wonder how you get out of putting your fingerprints on, because that's what I want to practice today.
So Denny, you and Kristen agree that these 2 houses are most like yours
Yep.
in size and condition. And we see what they closed at. Where do you feel we need to be to get you to Wellington in the time frame that you would like to be there in?
Well, again, that I don't know what those prices are. Let's just say it's 1.3 and then 1.2. Well, based on those, where do you think we should position it?
I think we should position it. We found great success. And this on a side note, I think you and I have a difference of opinion with this, Denny, but we have found great success with our strategy pricing slightly below the market, attracting a lot of opportunities for buyers. And we've actually, and more times than not, created an auction effect.
Okay, so when you create an auction effect, then let's be honest with each other. If you get more than one offer, that's probably a pretty attractive price. Get this, you're selling a $20 bill, a real one, not a counterfeit one, for something less than $20. Are we in agreement?
Pricing it slightly below the market value would be equivalent to what you said, yes.
Well, yes, but here's I get that, and it's a strategy, and I'm not going to defend that it's a bad strategy. There's a downside to that strategy because the seller may not want to price it below. The other thing is what she said is this: we're going to price it below market. What's wrong with it?
We never knew the market value. I see where you're going.
Yes, where is the market? What you're doing, if you guys tell them or think that you know where the market is, just understand you are predicting the future. And I had this thought, I've never shared it on this call, and I had this like epiphany, right? I used to stress over a listing presentation. I used to stress, and I would do a market analysis over and over again, and I'd do all kinds of things. I'd pull out Ouija boards, whatever, because I knew the seller wanted me to tell them what it was going to sell at. Man, this is even before I knew how to articulate what I'm telling you now. And I finally hit me, no wonder I got so stressed about it, because I suck at predicting the future. We're not called to do that. So I'm 2 minutes over my goal here. I want to exercise you, not like workout. I want you to rid yourself of the need or the fact that it's our responsibility to tell them or predict the future, because you do not know what current market value is until you expose it. The only way, you say, I do it all the time. The only way that can be true is you're pricing it low. I'm going to stop and tell me what you're hearing, and let's role play this.
So what do you say when they say, well, you're the expert, don't you have a price?
I can say that. Yes, I am. Every expert should tell you what's happened, what's current, and what the trend is. Based on that, where do you see yourself positioning that? Well, you're the expert. Hey, listen, you could go out and you can hire a fishing guide to go out. You've heard this before. And you know what? They could have been fishing that lake. They could be fishing the ocean for 15 or 20 or 30 years. Can they tell you for sure what fish will bite on next Saturday? No, but you're hiring them to find them. Where would you like to begin?
I'd like to type in the chat what you said. Every expert should tell you what has happened and what were the subsequent two.
Yeah, I mean, if an expert is going to tell you what they know, not what no expert will tell you what they don't know. No expert will guess. An expert I can tell you, I know exactly what has happened. I know what the competition is, and I know the trend in the market. And Louise is bringing prima facie evidence and demonstrating she's an expert on the market. So she is actually laying that groundwork. You guys, but we don't know what market value is. And if you go in there, even with a strategy, why don't we price it competitively and maybe we'll drive up the market? That is a cool strategy. It may work. However, if that seller is interviewing other agents, here's the thing. I don't think many sellers will be comfortable with that. Or many of them won't be comfortable, they won't tell you. If you tell them, listen, they want 1.2 for their home, let's price it at $999. I mean, they're not sleeping. They're holding their breath. They've just jumped out of the plane without a parachute. So let's go ahead. Louise, thank you for that. Who's next?
Hey, Denny,
yeah,
Denny.
Yeah.
I had a seller on the market for about 45 days, a former real estate agent in another state, $1 million. She called me just as I was calling her, said, we have to lower the price. Here's just the education I've got from you in Recon. Her language was, we gotta lower our price. I said, okay, well, what do you want to do? Because the market's saying no. She said, what do you think about 950? Now, 3 weeks ago and 3 years ago, I would have said, oh, that's a move in the right direction. Sounds good to me, which is putting my fingerprints on the price.
Yep.
And it was the first time, Denny, I said, well, it is a move in the right direction. Let me ask you a question. What are you going to do if the market says no to that price 60 days from now? She said, well, what do you mean? I said, all I'm saying is 950 is a better price. How about you go back and talk to your husband that you're about to get divorced from? Consider a lower price than 950 because 60 days from now, we may have to price it lower than that if the market says no. So it was the first time in my career, Denny, that I really did. I avoided it. I didn't put my fingerprints on it. And
good.
And we're still at 950, but at least I brought it up.
You have been exercised. Listen, the way I answer that really fast is, you know what, I can tell you, at 950, one of three things will happen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And basically, well, here's the thing. The current price, if you have a listing right now that's been on for any length of time and it's not, and you're an outcome one, for example, you've already learned the market has said no to that number. So drilling down, if they go down $1, that's a step in the right direction. But Don brings up a great point. Hey, we should lower it. We should reposition. And don't fall into the trap, because when you put your seal of approval on 950 and you have to go below that, they're going to hold you accountable. So Tim, let's go. So Tim, you want to work on a listing presentation really fast? We're going to move fast now.
Sure.
All right, Tim, where should we price our home?
So what I think your home is worth means absolutely no merit whatsoever. The only thing that matters is what is a buyer willing to pay for this kind of home in this area at this time. So let me ask you this, looking over all the comps, all the actives, all the pendings and all the solds, where do you want to price your home at?
Well, that's why I have you here. I'm interviewing 3 people. What are you going to get from my house?
Well, these, the pendings really tell us what buyers are willing to pay for this kind of home in this area this time. And right now, the buyers are telling us that your house, they're buying these houses at $500,000. So where do you want to price where do you want to list your house at? I mean, because these buyers are buying houses that are similar to yours for $500,000.
So, all right, I want to give you some feedback. I would drop buyers out of your conversation, because you said buyers like 25 times. And you haven't used my name once, but you mentioned buyers. I think you like buyers more than sellers. Why don't you say the market?
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
The market seems to be hovering around the 500. Go right back to me. Where do you want to position it? All right, I'm going to go. All right, so Don, you had your hand up. I'm going to go right to you. Same role play. You said the market's around 500, and I say, well, you asked me where do you want to position it? Well, you tell me where I should position it.
Well, Danny, I appreciate that. I'm not the one buying or selling your home. The market, let's look at the list prices that attracted the buyers. Let's look at the list prices the market had on these properties that brought buyers to the sales. What number most commonly is represented here as a list price before they sold?
Well, how far back are you looking?
I'm just looking the last 60 days. That's the market.
Well, they all were around, 500-ish, 525, 550.
Exactly. So what number there do you want to pick to start?
Now, are you not attempting to direct me?
Nope.
Yeah, I'm feeling like I'm being shoehorned into that low 500. Now I said I'm going to be
Okay.
interviewing other agents. What can you get me?
Right. Well, let me ask you, are you going to look the criteria when you're interviewing other agents? Are you just going to pick an agent that tells you the highest price, Denny?
Well, if they told me it's going to bring $5 million, I'd kick him out. So it's not going to be the highest price.
Sure. What other criteria are you looking for?
So I'm going to give you, those are all great questions. I'm going to give you, I think, the path, a free
least
pass, the
resistance.
free pass out of that cul-de-sac.
Okay.
It's going to be this, you guys. I'm going to just role play with Don really fast. So you want to know, so you're asking me where I position it, right?
Yeah, you're the expert.
Yes, well, an expert's going to tell you what they know, not what they don't know. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the 3 things, and you've heard me before, but I want you to get it. You've already gone over it. Here's the homes for sold. Here's what's happened. Here's the homes that are on the market. We've already talked about the market trend. So if we don't know where the next fish is going to bite, if I can't tell you where the next fish is going to bite, I can't tell you where it's not going to bite. You have a number in mind. Where would you like to throw the first plug?
Well, we liked 550.
You see, you can be honest with them, because he's asking you to predict the future. I can't do that. They have a number in mind. You've got to get them to say it. Allie, you ready? We're going to you, Dr. Lauren, next. All right, you show me what's for sale. I don't like those numbers at all. Where do you think I should list my house, Allie?
Well, Denny, I can appreciate that you're not pleased with those numbers, and yet these are the facts. We've looked at what has sold. We've looked at what's happening right now, and we've looked at the trends at this point. All those numbers put together, where do you see that number?
Well, I could have got, you're showing me here like 700,000. I could have sold it last year for 800. I don't, why 700? I don't like that number at all.
Oh, that's a great point. And the 800,000 was last year's data. When we look at data for right now and what's actively happening in the market is showing us this trend. And I know you're unhappy with it. And yet, are we going to delay and be here in 6 months and possibly be in a worse situation? Or are we ready to take advantage of the market for where it is now?
Well, I don't have to give my house away. So, I mean, can I not ask 8?
Well, you can definitely ask for whatever you want. And yet the market will not pay what it's not willing to pay. So what is your goal here, Denny? Is it to sit here and dance with the market for 6 more months? Or do you want to kind of move forward with your next plans?
So here's a great point right here. You played that perfectly. Who brought up the number? Her or me?
You did.
I did. So do you have an idea what's in my mind?
Right. 800.
All right. So right there, as soon as they bring up the number, I want you to have those, the little things you get at the little poppers, you pull a string and you pop it up and all the streamers come out. I want you to get a pocket full of those. Because as soon as they mention the number, I want you to pop a couple. Why?
Because we know where their head is at. We know where they're at.
Well, then you can do what?
We can reel them back in. We can give them a reality check.
No, not yet.
No, take the listing.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Take the
Okay.
listing.
Ramp. Gotcha. Okay. I got to get that. Okay. The exit ramp.
No. Everyone's got to get this.
Okay.
Get the agreement.
Yeah.
And have the conversation. So who can model that with me? Dr. Lauren, do you know how to model that with me?
The modeling the conversation once you've put a number out there.
I put 800. I mean, I like that 8 number. I don't like a 7 number.
Okay, well, if we can agree to that number that you came up with, can we move forward together today?
You guys, right there.
Correct.
I mean, I feel like if you can get to that point, I am so passionate about this. This will set you free. It's their wish. It's their number. Can you say for sure it would never happen? Then why fight them? Agree. Hey, you know what? They could be off 100 grand, 200 grand. It doesn't really matter. If they're willing to work with you, if you're willing to take it at 200, all you have to 200 over asking price or market value. All right, knuckle bump. Now, Allie, do you mind if we have the conversation? May I tell you what's going to happen next?
Gotcha.
All right, so I want to hear from some other people.
Denny, just one point on that. A lot of recons ago, you said something along the lines, and I've used it. You might be the outlier at 800,000. There's always outliers.
So Denny, what are you doing?
Go ahead, Sandra.
So what are you doing? Because I'm actually talking to a lady yesterday, and they're listed with another agent getting fired on Monday, and they want to list with us. However, even at the price that they're listed at right now, they are bringing $10,000 to the table, and they've had no showings on their house at all. She's agreed to go down, but we've got the stress of them basically being upside down on their home and carrying another house note in Arizona. So how do you handle that? I mean, and I've already told her it's going to be about your pricing.
All right, I'll role play. Can you be that seller?
Sure.
And you know what? I mean, you're awesome coming in as a second agent. You know the typical saying in real estate. You've heard this before. You You want to be the firstborn son, the second wife, and the third listing agent, right? Because by then they're kind of getting into reality. I mean, you guys have heard that, right? I mean, it's on everyone's license plate.
That's so bad.
What are you
Anyhow,
hiding what are you hiding your
that's
head?
so
Okay,
bad.
so all right, so here's the issue. So Sandra, you're skinny on this already, correct? You're already bringing money to the table.
God, thank you for calling me skinny. Yes, I am.
So so help me understand where you are. Do you think the market's working in your favor or working against you as a seller?
Well, it's obviously working against me, but my first day,
What happened?
nothing, nada.
I got it.
What happened?
No, hang on. I lost your voice. So the market's working against you, correct?
Yes.
So what that means is, so let me get clarity here. What that means is that you see the more homes coming on the market, and you could have sold your home for more. Well, actually, if you're in that position, you probably haven't owned it very long, so you can't get out. So would it be fair to say your home is worth less every day?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, yeah.
You guys, that is a key point. All right, so therefore, and you're bringing $10,000 of closing as it is, and it's in the market still saying no, right?
Yes.
Well, if you're losing money every day, selling faster will be better. I mean, it's going to be painful either way. My question is this.
Yeah, but we don't have the money though. We don't have the money to bring all this,
I got it.
$10,000+ to the closing table.
That's going to be my question. Do you have
Sorry.
the money to bring to closing?
No.
Okay, I'm going to ask you, I know where I'm going. What would you ask next? Who wants to take a shot at that? There's one perfect question.
It's a short sale.
And you
Just
borrow
ask
the
your
money.
bank.
You have,
Can you
they're
sell
not,
the
they're
other
not
one?
behind.
Can you
They're
sell
not
the
behind
other
on their
house?
net. You have to be short.
Yeah, I got it.
They're leasing a house in Arizona. They're got the house here in Houston to sell.
What's a great question, Bill? Yeah, that might be an option, but what's the
You rent
question?
it out?
Is there anyone you can borrow the money from?
They don't want to.
Well, let me tell you my question. All right, Sandra, what's your
Yes,
plan?
Denny.
No, watch this. What's your plan?
Well, I've already called my mortgage company to see if we can do a forbearance, and we're waiting for the paperwork to come in on that.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't know what we're gonna do. I may have to just, I don't know.
You guys,
Sell a kid.
remember, we do questions. You guys just stay in the curiosity. Well, what are your options, Sandra?
Well, we're gonna run out of money in 2 months. And at that point, I don't know what we're gonna do, Denny.
Well, let's brainstorm your options. What about the house in Arizona? I mean, can you get out of that lease and just stay here?
They've already moved. We've already moved. We've been here for 2 weeks.
Okay.
We're in a year lease.
Do you have anyone you can borrow money from?
Already said no.
No.
Well, I think you're gonna then, the only other thing I can think of is you're gonna have to negotiate with the bank with a short sale or foreclosure.
Yeah,
Now,
but Don, I have to be behind on a month in order to short sell it.
You guys, why did I take her there? You've got to take
Game.
them to the danger zone.
Self-discovery.
Don't save them.
Self-discovery is very powerful.
It is. And I mean, they also have a VA loan, so that can be assumed.
But
The
can't be
forbearance will
assumed
help.
at the wrong price.
Well, I know that. I didn't say it on that. I just said that their loan can be assumed.
This is a classic. No, number one, you can be empathetic, but don't be sympathetic. They got into that mess somehow.
I agree.
And we're finding in our market, you already saw our market, it's not going up like it was. In fact, it's retreating. There's people that have bought in the last 18 months, Don, that can't sell and get out. Now, if they bought like 3 years ago, they got tons of equity, but not in the last 18 months. So what do you do? Now, I'm going to be the seller that, well, okay, let's just stay with Sanders people. No, I'm going to be a seller that's stubborn. I'm not going to change my price. Okay. You're my listing agent. Have a conversation with me. Who wants to do it? Go ahead, Dr. Lauren.
Okay, Denny. I can appreciate you not wanting to adjust on that price. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, we're at 650. I think it's worth 650, and I'm not budging. There's got to be
Okay.
a buyer. You just haven't got the right buyer. There's got to be a buyer out there.
Well, remember the 3 outcome sheet that we went over, Denny, when we first met?
Yep.
Okay. Where outcome are we at right now?
Well, we're getting a showing every now and then, probably 1 or 1.5, you know, but we just, no, I'm not budging.
And what's the reason you're moving again?
Well, we don't need this house. You know, we're gonna get closer to the grandkids. They're over there in South Carolina. So we're gonna wait on our price.
Okay. And what does waiting on the price do for you?
I'm just, you know, it's 600, I think 650 or 600 is probably reasonable. So I'm,
Okay. And perhaps, I mean, if it were reasonable, don't you think we would be getting offers?
well, the right buyer there will be a buyer that comes along.
And how long do you want to wait and miss time with your grandkids?
Well, they're young and I'm young. I'm sure it'll be better next year or two.
Okay. And what if you don't get that price next year? Are you going to wait another 24 months to sell?
Well, I'm kind of smiling. I'm waiting. What's the ultimate? Where do you go when you run out of those questions?
How long can you afford to wait?
It's not an affordability issue.
Yeah. I kind of already asked that.
What happens if it never sells? It doesn't
Okay.
sell.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like that question. Okay. So what happens if you never get a buyer? You're sitting here next year after next year, market still says no to 650. What happens then, Denny?
Theoretically, that could happen, but I don't think it's realistic. But you know, okay, so I'm just, you know, it's okay. I'm all right.
Okay. And we've had quite a few homes sell in your area. We've actually had about 5 homes come off the market in the last month or
They're
so.
awful patient.
Do you even want to sell?
Yeah, I want to get my wife wants to move the grandkids.
How badly does your wife want to move?
She wants to move, but we're not going to give our house away.
All right.
What's a giveaway price, Denny?
Yeah.
Well,
Hey,
what's a giveaway? But I don't understand that question.
What
Well, you
price
said
is
you won't. You said
reasonable?
you don't want to give your house away. So what number
Right.
do you think you would be giving your house away at?
Yeah, well, I'm not taking, you know, it's been on the market, you know, it's 625. You know, I won't take less than 600, and I'm waiting on that number.
Okay. And you're pretty much telling me you're going to wait forever.
Yeah, I mean, that's a theoretical question. I mean, Jesus is coming, but I don't know when. So, you know, so
Is Denny? Denny, can I ask you a really blunt and direct question?
sure.
Is that $625,000 number in your head worth more to you than the precious time you're missing out on your grandkids? Are your grandkids not worth that to you?
I hear a violin playing when she asks that. I mean, I feel this music is coming on in the background. You guys, you cannot fix me. At what point? What do you say?
Here's the release.
Keep the home.
Yeah, I was saying that's why I'm divorced.
Yeah, I was like, then you know what? I guess the best thing for you to do is just take it off the market then, right? Just keep it.
So
That was the truest thing you could say. We cannot fix you. You are so right about that.
I have used in role play, and I would say this to a client. I'm looking for the picture. I'm not found it. I may have to create it. I would say, Lauren, I'm just going to reverse this. You're the seller. Lauren, imagine you're driving by and you see a guy sitting out in the middle of the, how about this, J.C. Penney parking lot. Who remembers that? You're in J.C. Penney's parking lot and they've got a fishing rod and they're fishing in the parking lot. There's no water there. And they got the cooler and they're sitting there fishing. What would you think?
I think they were crazy.
You know what? That's you.
Well,
Could you say it?
I could say that. After
Yeah.
after that conversation, I could use that on that
Denny,
person.
Denny, thanks to you, I did say something like I said, John, you're looking for fish. Yeah, there's ice. You're fishing under the ice, but we're in an ice rink. There's no fish under this frozen water.
Yes, if you want to soften it, that you know what, rather than say that's you, that's sellers that are basically locked into a number that is unrealistic. So you know they get the picture. I can tell you one more thing, and then I would like you to share a couple ahas. Don't, particularly if you're dealing with a situation, older people, baby boomers, maybe the spouse, they've lost a spouse or something. I found out in my family early in my real estate career, my grandfather, before he passed away, had in his mind that someone offered him some number. I don't know if it was a dream or somebody gave him some verbal offer, but come hell or high water during his lifetime, he would not sell that house for any less than that, whatever somebody said. And many times, if he were to pass away and my grandmother was there, would never come down because she would think she's betraying the grandfather. Just beware of the dynamics sometimes in that family situation. They're feeling like they're going to betray them. But bottom line is, it's okay. You know what the 4-letter word in real estate is? It's NEXT.
Next. Yeah.
Let them keep the house. So what did you hear? I got a little preachy today in the first 30 minutes because I want you to get out of giving people prices because you don't know what the market value is. So what did you get out of today?
Everyone has a number. Use that as your exit ramp. Just get the number, then get the agreement, and then work it back.
Good. I think that's a very strong aha. Thank you for that. Anybody else?
Experts can only predict the past, not the future.
True. If I
I'm
can
not
predict
Karnak. I'm not Johnny Carson and Karnak.
Karnak, yeah. Like, wait a minute, how's it work?
You got it.
One more aha.
You can't fix people.
If you can get to
You're
the
speechless.
if you guys can get to the point where you can get the, hey, listen, I know you want me to tell you I am the expert, but I am not Kreskin or Kurskin, or I love this one. I know I work with Keller Williams, but I'm not Helen Keller, okay? I'm not a miracle worker. You have to basically, if you could throw the plug in the water, where do you want to start? If you can get them to say a number, then you go right for the close. If we start at that, are you ready to do business with me? You have just set up a beautiful relationship. Everything else revolves around the 3 outcomes. All right, guys, it's 2:00, 2:01. Thanks for being on. I appreciate you, Louise, Don, everybody else that participated. Oh, I have another comment. I got comments here I didn't read. Maybe somebody has some ahas. Let's see.
Danny, I just sent you a picture of what you're looking for of people. in the parking
Did you
lot.
find it?
Yeah, I made it. But check your text. I sent a text to you.
Oh, so me and Megan have this
Denny, I found it. I'll email it to you.
Send it, put it in the chat.
The link is in the chat.
I opened the link, it was a video.
Yeah.
All right, let me see if I can get the picture real quick.
That may be the thumbnail for the video. If you can find it, send it to me. I'll give you credit. It's Coach Denny Grimes at Gmail. I want somebody fishing in the parking lot, and I'll share it with everybody else. And I'll just give you credit for finding it because I think it just speaks 1,000 words. All right. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being on.
You guys.
Bye.
Thank you, Danny.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Oh.